show, we have author Marcie Schwartz with us, and she wears many hats. She coaches parents, she's a mother, she's a numerologist, and has over 30 years of experience in the field. Welcome, Marcie, to the show.
Thanks for having me.
And Marcie's book, Parenting with Awareness, is making waves, and everyone's talking about it. There's a lot of buzz. And it's got some great ideas, great themes. So I'm going to start by asking you to describe what got you started or thinking about writing this book.
Okay. Well, for the past 15 years, I've been teaching in the Marcie Play program, which a lot of the Wellesley families have participated in, which has given me the great opportunity of being able to see the wonderful dance between moms and kids. And so I just have been seeing that parents are feeling a lot of stress about their roles and what they hope to do in terms of raising kids and what to do. And so I thought it might be a really great idea to sort of combine all my experience as a teacher and mother. And I've done a lot of research and self-education in terms of some new approaches to mothering and parenting that we might be able to put it all together.
And you told me also that at some point years back you had started a preschool.
I did.
For kids.
I did.
So you have a lot of experience with people, mothers, children of different ages.
I do. And the thing that I want to really highlight about this book is it's not a book for a specific age group.
So, and it's not a how-to book.
It's not a how-to book. There's nothing in this book that is going to say, if you do this, you're going to get this result. And that's because I truly believe that every parent-child relationship is different. And even, and most moms will attest, if they have more than one kid, that what they do for the first child will probably not work for the second or third child.
Right.
So it's really important to acknowledge and respect and honor each relationship between mom and kids individually.
The book can be purchased on Marcie's website, and it's called parentingwithawareness.net. It's not a how-to book, as we said, but it's for parents and kids, and to sort of break the cycle of the parenting styles that are not working for them, and break the cycle of the way kids respond that's not working for the parent.
Right. Well, this book is really more of an approach to life. What my whole goal was to sort of introduce moms to sort of a different realm, like maybe a new age or spiritual realm of thinking and approaching their own lives. So I encourage them to go on a little self-reflective journey. And what I do is teach moms a lot about some new ideas and that they can bring to their own life. And then I give them concrete, hands-on, fun activities that they can teach these abstract ideas to their kids. So that's in that sense, it's not for any specific age group. Even though the activities might be more for, like, say, elementary age kids and up, because the concepts are abstract. I also will say, if you have little ones, you can sort of gear it down to them as well.
And you have classes that you offer. And you have a lot of Wellesley families who participate, and there are an hour-and-a-half sessions.
I do have the Marcie Play program, which is, right now it's in Westwood. We used to have a Wellesley location, no longer. But the Marcie program is primarily for moms and toddlers together. And that's because I believe that all learning between 0 and 3 happens around a relationship, and what better relationship than you, if possible. And it's like a little preschool. So the classes are once a week, like an hour and a half, and they get to be involved with lots of different materials each week. It's pretty exciting and fun.
And let me ask you this. Is there a particular story or experience or a collection of experiences that you may have had that got you started thinking about this field and this subject and then writing this book?
I've had many experiences through my teaching and, of course, through my own children. That sort of validate a lot of the points that I make. In terms of sort of getting to where I wrote the book, I think I looked back and I middle age, where I'm at, I hate to admit, maybe even a little beyond, offered me the opportunity to take time to do a lot of my own sort of growth and on my own sort of spiritual journey. And what I found was that in so many of the workshops and classes that I would do, many women my own age, 50s, 60s, are all there sort of searching, trying to like figure out issues that are still unresolved from their own mothers. And then I would go back in my classroom and I'd see these moms like so stressed, and they would be like, I had this one particular situation where this mom was like, took time off from her career and to spend time with her kid at home, and she's standing there in tears saying to me, I just want to be with him and I feel so guilty. And because she was feeling the pressure to put him into a structured school program, and the kid was 20 months. So I saw like, wow, we're struggling in our roles as mothers, and then we're struggling in our role as daughters. We're still trying to figure out our relationship with our mothers, even when we're like midlife. And so I thought, well, you know, it would be so wonderful to sort of take some of my expertise, some of the lessons that I've learned. I'm very honest in the book. I tell you all my worst mistakes, which I've made many. And although I'm happy to say my kids still like hanging out with me, so I couldn't have been too bad, Mom. But and I thought I could pull it together. And my real goal was to be able to sort of hopefully like teach moms some resources that they wouldn't have to go through those same mistakes, and that they wouldn't feel the pressure that they're feeling. I see it, you know, because we all want to do right by our kids.
Right. Well, that's awesome. And I downloaded some things from your website and from the website for the book. And where you talk about new age wisdoms, hands-on activities, and guided conversations. So would you tell us a little bit about appreciating abundance, the treasure box?
Oh, right. Okay. I think, you know, it's really important for children to learn to appreciate what they have. And very fortunately, our kids have a lot. So the little treasure box activity is an activity I designed where children, and most of the activities, I should say, are very inexpensive. A lot of them you can do at home with things that you have in your house. And if there's something small that you need to purchase, I will tell you where to go get it. Most of them are like craft stores. So for like $1, you can you know, get these little wooden treasure boxes, and then lots of jewels or colored beads or whatever. I love the big jewels that, again, you can buy at a craft store. And this is a wonderful activity if you have a group of kids or like 2 or 3 siblings, and you tell them that they can fill up their treasure box with whatever treasure they want. Let them pick the stones, and you know, they should fill up a whole bucket of them, so there's plenty of them. And then when they're all filled and when they've chosen the ones that they want, you actually say to them, you know what? That one's not going to be for you. That one, I mean, you put them in the middle and mix them all around, and you actually let them share that one that they made, thinking that it was for them with someone else. So they're learning that there's the sense of giving away and sharing what they have. And then, of course, when they still get one, of course, but it's interesting to see their reactions. And then through their reactions, that's when the conversations would come up. And I have guided conversations in there, so I can kind of tell you, if you get this result, you know, you might want to go in that direction.
And do you do this with parents and kids? Do you do it together, or do they do that separately at home and then they tell you what kind of conversations they had? And
well, right now I'm not running classes with these activities. I would love to do that, and that's one thing. Like hopefully by spreading the word about the book, that I have a whole program of like Empower Me type of classes, because the whole idea is for kids to feel empowered. And as mothers, for us, through some of these activities, through these insights, to be able to teach them self-awareness, and also the idea that they are connected to other people, and that their actions do have effects on others.
Aromatherapy tea bags?
Yeah, that was fun. There's a little section on aromatherapy. There's actually a whole section, chapter on the mind-body connection. And I think it's really important, especially now, as we see our kids more and more stressed, they're having more and more physical symptoms. You know, more and more kids are being put on antidepressants than ever before. Kids are more obese than ever before. So there's reasons. Kids have more allergies and food allergies than ever before. There's something going on with our kids in the stressful setting that they're living in.
Do you think that may be more environmental, or it's like a parenting sort of issue, or both?
I think it's kind of a combination of both. I think that kids are, we're feeling stressed as parents, and then the frenetic pace that we're living in, is the kids are feeling it. One of the things I really stress in the book is, and people who have been through my program know how important imagination is to me. And unfortunately, our kids, and I mean all kids, have so little free time. They're rushed as young as like 1 and 2, rushed from structured activity to activity, or from school to an activity to a sport or whatever it is. And so our young people don't have a lot of time for downtime and just to explore themselves, their dreams, their passions. For young children, it's all about like experimenting with role playing, questions they have. And so it's really important, I think, for parents to just kind of take a breath and just sort of like say, all right, you know what, we need to like have some chill time. And it's okay to have chill time, that it's, you know, that you're not doing your kids a disservice to say, we have nothing scheduled today. Today, it's okay to be on your floor in your room playing.
Right.
So in terms, to go back to the aromatherapy, there is this part of the book is making kids aware that we all perceive the world differently. So there's a whole thing in the book, and this can even be done with little ones, how, you know, we are separate beings, and that like you could make, you know, taste or see something differently than your child, and then that's okay. In other words, it's allowing us to be different than our kids, and our kids see that. So there's this thing, there's all activities on perception, there's activities on taste, and then of course this one is like with aromatherapy. And so there is research that says that of course these scents affect our moods, and we're aware of it in the candles that we burn or bath salts or things like that. So that was just a cute little fun activity that's actually on the website with a friend of mine who specializes in aromatherapy.
And on your website there are videos as well, right?
There is, and it's so cool because my son is studying film, and so I love the fact that it's a parenting book and that he's been part of this process for me. So he filmed me doing a few of the activities with my Marcie and me alumni who are now like 8 and 9 years old. And there's a wonderful activity on there I love about showing kids the importance of their words and how their negative words and gossip affects other people. And this is so cool because, you know, that's something that's so abstract. But as a mother of 3, you probably, you know, have them calling each other names, and you know, sometimes they don't appreciate or understand like how something really hurtful, I mean, what they say can be really hurtful and stick, you know. And so anyhow, I have this cool activity where we have like a clear glass of water and then just some dirt, some plain old dirt. And, you know, if you explain to your child, well, you know, this is like, you know, the person. And then when you say something really nasty or mean, even if they're not there, even if you put out those negative words and gossip when they're not there, this is what happens. And if you put negative energy out into the universe and then you put the dirt into the water, and it just turns like all mucky, like gross. Right. And so they visually can see, wow, you know, that's how what I say is affecting somebody else. And then the next step is like if you even say to them, well, you know, maybe you can try to take it back with an apology. You can take like a coffee filter
and strain it
through. But then it's still like a little murky.
There's a discoloration to the water that never goes away.
And so you say, you know what? Once you put out those words out into the universe, you can never really take them back. The person can hear your apology, but it's hard to really.
And that's a lovely visualization, because it's like they say, a picture paints 1,000 words. So
especially
they can really
for little
see
ones,
it.
you know, or even, you know, and especially important today, like that's the type of thing that like we're talking about in the book, is with gossiping and bullying and with the whole texting. People aren't really seeing how their, you know, words are affecting others because they don't have the visual. You know, it's very easy to say something nasty on your text.
Yes.
So this is kind of making them realize that even if it's still on a text, it's still having, you know, a negative effect out into the world. And
how does the family love necklace tie in?
I think that there's several activities in there about love, because love is energy, and you're going to need all the energy you can as a mother to draw upon that love to get through your mothering days. But there's a few different love activities. The love necklace is nice just because, especially for kids, if they're like having issues with separation, it's very simple. You can just get colored beads, and you can let them choose a bead for each person that they love in their life. And what's interesting as a parent is to see who they put on next to who, you know, and they may include certain people that they think they love that you think, wow, I never would think they would put that on their necklace, and exclude others, you know. But you need to keep your mouth shut and just let them do their thing. And then you can, you know, if she or your son or daughter is having an issue with it, you know, they can wear them to school and say, you can always have my love, you know, with you. There's another really nice activity about love that I like doing, especially for sibling rivalry, because let's face it, they're always after your attention.
Right.
And
And I think sibling rivalry also lasts throughout adulthood.
you're
It
right.
never quite goes away, as from what I can gather.
I
Right?
think you're probably right. But the one thing to try to teach them is love is limitless. And maybe in that sense, maybe it would be, there'll be less fighting and competition for it if they know that you have unlimited love, and that when we share our love, it actually grows. And so there's this fun activity where if you have old enough kids, you can get them each a candle. If not, you can just get those little cheap ones that you twist on, battery ones. So I've done this, I actually have done this with like 3-year-olds and 11-year-olds, like in a little workshop I did. And so you have a lit candle, and if you have, like I said, if you have a 13-year-old, they're old enough to hold it, and you say, this is my love, and as I share it, and you can do it in a darkened room, which is really cool, because they can see how when you share your love, it turns the dark into light. So you can just go ahead and start lighting the candles, and they can see, well, gee, Mom has, this is her love, and as she's sharing it, it's not going away, it's just getting bigger and bigger.
Right.
So again, another really strong, powerful visual, fun, it will keep their attention, and yet it's really drawing on some abstract idea that love needs to be shared.
So let me ask you about teaching about vibration through a rubber band instrument.
Okay, that's on the website too.
Yes.
Vibration is something that is in our universe, as most scientific people will know. And one thing that we're trying to teach the kids is, and there's this whole idea that sort of positive resonates at a higher vibration than negative. And so in the book it discusses, the positive vibration of words and the positive vibration of thoughts, and how that our words and our thoughts create our experience. So kids are thinking, so what's vibration? So there are some fun exercises in there. There's the one that is with the elastics in the board is a little bit more elaborate. It's basically, you might have done it in like a math class where you have like a wooden board with like some not tag nails, but like big head nails.
Right.
And then they can just stretch rubber bands at different intensity, and it makes like an instrument. I did that with 2 little boys. They loved it. If you want to do something simpler to show vibration, there's a very simple thing. You can just take a small bowl and stretch saran wrap over it, and like put some pepper on it, and then like bang a pot next to it, and the pepper starts dancing. I call it pepper dance. So again, taking something that we don't see, that we are told we have to kind of understand and believe that exists, but kids can actually start seeing it.
Right.
Very cool. And you can actually do a whole bunch of nails and a whole bunch of elastics, and then get different size elastics and make different sounds by the different size elastics and how much you stretch them. Is that fun?
Yeah.
And that ties in with the words that they choose to say and the things that they choose to say.
Exactly.
And how that also causes vibrations and consequences
Exactly.
and reactions.
And the idea, like starting to say, like, if we use positive words, there's higher vibration. So there's things like where there's also, like for older kids, word graphs that they can do, so that you're starting to like at least make them conscientious about the words that they're saying. One thing that's wonderful about words is that they can be categorized, and even little children know the difference between good and bad. So even if they can't read, and you're trying to put like good words on like some like really soft silky fabric, and bad words on scratchy sandpaper, you can do like a happy face and a sad face. And so if you're trying to do that activity with like an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old, they're going to still be able to understand and get it.
Right. And what's the What We Like poster about?
The What We Like poster is, I think, is equally as important for moms and parents as it is for the kids. And I think part of it is, as parents, allowing our kids to find their own passions and their own dreams. I mean, we have expectations that we want for our kids, but sometimes they may not be the same. Their true rhythm in life or their dreams may not be the same as what you have for them.
Right.
So, one huge part of the book is that I encourage parents to kind of look for signs of their kids' passions and dreams, because that's where they'll really truly be successful, if they can find those and then live out those. So in terms of the poster, it's just drawing like 3 simple, well, depending on how many people you have in your family, but say you have one child between 2 parents, a circle for the mom, a circle for the dad, and a circle for the child, overlapping, like in intersecting sets, like
So
we did in math.
like Olympic rings almost, with like 3 interconnecting rings.
Right. And then allowing the child to say what he likes, and then what mom likes, and what dad likes, and seeing what they like together would be like in the intersection. And you know, it might be really interesting because they may say like something to you like, wow, I didn't even know he liked that.
Right.
You could do whatever. You could sort of guide it towards what activities they like, what colors they like, what foods they like. But the idea is giving him or her permission to like something different than you. And you also having a little insight into what they truly say that they like.
Right. And in your experience, how would you place it? Do you think that parents as a whole are more frenetic and more fast-paced and busy now than they were 20 to 30 years ago? Have you ever had to tell parents that you need to slow down and you need to work part-time or you need to spend more time with your child?
I think that this society is way more frenetic and busy than we were years ago. Years ago, I studied at Tufts University at Elliott Pearson. I was a teacher there for a brief time under David Elkind, who wrote The Hurried Child. And he has a quote in his book like how, you know, childhood is being diminished and, you know, the kids aren't getting to have the free play and it's so critical. And it's interesting because that was 25 years ago. And since then, I do feel like that it's much more frenetic today in terms of the pace. I've had 1-year-olds in my program that are scheduled to do 3 activities on a given day. And I'm like the second one in the middle. I don't really tell parents that in my classes, I don't tell parents that they shouldn't be doing those things because I have to be respectful of what they're doing. I hope through the book I can guide and inspire moms to maybe be able to give themselves permission to slow down. You know, we ourselves are in this frenetic pace, and if we can't step out of it, then how do we expect our kids to? And yet, kids, I talk about this in the book. Kids are born with being able to be still. We lose that ability to be still. Like I notice it in my classrooms when little babies are brought in those buckets. They'll sit there for an hour and a half just staring at the wall, looking up at the ceiling fans, never even needing a toy. They're just looking around, you know, they're fine. And we become addicted to sort of that frenetic pace.
Stimulus.
Exactly.
Giving them more and more stimulus and then they start to gear up from that point.
You know, so all I can say is that, you know, hoping that, like, I will inspire moms to, I think they feel like they need permission, and if that they're doing their kids a disservice, if they're not doing something busy and constructive pretty much all their waking hours.
If you had to give us a set of instructions, how do we recognize that we need to stop, buy the book, and go through these exercises? Or how do we know? What are the signs to look for to know that we need to do some kind of intervention in our lifestyles?
The first thing I would say is, are you happy? Are you loving the process of being a mother? Because you should be loving it. I mean, not to say that you're not going to be stressed. Or exhausted or tired, but generally, I think that you should be loving it, and not feeling guilty, and not second guessing yourself, and not doing things that you don't feel comfortable doing, like that mom crying to me and saying, "I just want to be with my kid, but I feel so guilty. I need to put him in school." I think that's the first sign, is just to look within you, and then the change has to come with you, because everything that your child is going to learn is initially, and even for a long time, you are your you are your kids' life coach, and it's your attention and your love that they're really looking for. So they're going to look to you to be their role model. And so, I think what I hope to do is have you question your goals, your dreams, not only for your kids, but for you as a woman yourself, and your expectations. And then when that's in check, then I would say, then look at your kids, and you may have a different lens, which is what I'm hoping. And then in terms of the kids, look, I would say the same thing. Are they happy? Are they stressed? Are they, I actually had a mother, recently, I'm setting up a workshop to do with her, and she said to me, she wants to get her child into a certain type of classes because she didn't get to do it as a kid, and she wants her kid to do it. And she says, but he just tells me he just wants to stay home with me after school. And my thinking is, listen to what he's saying. That's not such a bad thing. He's 4 years old. If they're saying to me, "Mom, I just want to stay home after school," then listen to those words. Validate what they're saying. You
So
know?
you have to make them feel like they're being listened to.
Exactly. So I look for those simple signs, you know, and then in terms of like, the other thing I think that's really important for us as mothers to do is to cue in, to slow down enough to be able to cue into our individual kids and watch them, observe them. You can't observe them if you're always so busy shuffling them, right? So observe what they're doing. So for example, I'll give you a perfect example that I relate to in my book with my own son. My first son was the little type of guy that was like always busy with the cars, back and forth, back and forth. That's all he wanted to do was play with the cars. Next thing, he was building the Legos, those big giant sets at like 4 years old, you know, following sequential directions. Then he got into model building. Then he built his own computer. So all along, he's showing me how he's interacting in the world. Never did the kid want to do an art project. Never did he love to be like being read to. But when he got to high school and it was time to apply to college, he says, Mom, I'm applying to one school. I want to go to this engineering school.
Okay.
He knew exactly what he wanted. Now, if I was really like a genius, I would have said to you, I saw all those signs all along, but I was a busy working mom, you know. And it wasn't until later with hindsight, I went, oh my God, he showed me who he was all along. So if we can slow down and see, is your kid always upside down? Maybe they are an athlete. You know, I was a gymnast. I was always upside down. I was never sitting still. You know, are they always drawing? Are they always reading? You know, are they always intrigued by puzzles or numbers? See if they watch for their signs, and then those will give you the clues of how to direct and guide them.
And also in your book, you do say that it's parents have to understand that it's okay for their child to be different from them.
Absolutely.
And children have to accept that it's okay for them to be different from their parents.
Absolutely. No, I think that's really essential. Because we
Fantastic.
all, you know, because realistically, we all introduce our kids to what we love the most,
Right.
right? So, you know, and we want them to like what we like. But they may not only not like it, but they may not have the ability.
Right.
You know, and the other thing is we have to love our kids for who they are and, you know, with their limitations.
Right.
You know, so anyhow, it is. Yeah. It's about letting them be their authentic, true selves and guiding them to figure out who and what that is.
That is so important.
Because I think as adults, a lot of us, like I said in that middle-age groups that I used to workshops, we're still trying to figure that out.
Right.
Because our parents necessarily didn't have the skills to be able to offer us how to do that.
Well, that's interesting that the world has evolved into now where we sort of recognize that we need to have those skills to see those differences and say that whatever it is okay.
Right.
So that's an interesting progression. And we're sort of lucky to be living in that time. So Marcie, again, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And your book is available, you were telling me, online?
It's available on parentingwithawareness.net. It's available on Amazon. And it's available in Wellesley at the Wellesley Booksmith and Laughing Dog Yoga Studio.
Oh, perfect. That's right. Laughing Dog Yoga Studio and Wellesley Booksmith in town. Thank you so
Thank
much.
You so
it's been
much.
a pleasure.
All right, thanks.